Hey, chat, we're going to get started here in a second. All right. They can hear you. They can see you.
Did you tweet?
I did. Did I? I did, right? Yes, I think I did.
This is hilarious. I'm so excited to see if you didn't tweet.
I did, and GamesBeat retweeted me.
Yeah, he did it. Shit. I was so excited to be like, you're an idiot and you didn't do that.
What was I going to say? Oh, wait.
Yeah,
now I can hear myself.
Elements
What the
open.
hell? What the hell? Now it works? I walked away and it worked. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to complain. What's up?
You have Stream Elements open?
No. Should I? What do I need it for?
For the super chats.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do that, don't I? Yeah.
All right. You guys see what I work with? You guys see what I work with?
Viewer activity's working again, but I'm going to open Stream Elements as a backup.
Yeah, just do that.
Super chats. It's a thing right there. Okay. Wait, no, that just shows me the bar graph. Activity feed. There we go. Mike's upset that I sound different in the morning, everybody. How do you feel about it?
I feel like he sounds so different in the morning, and apparently that's a thing, and I don't know. I never noticed it from anybody else I've ever known in my life.
You just don't. You know what? You're just so self-absorbed that when you see other people in the morning, you're like, I'm not even listening to you. That they probably is just like, I'm like right in your ears and you can't ignore me. Yeah. So that's what it is.
It must be that. That must be it. That must be it.
Okay. I think I am ready.
I am.
Wait, let's check the music. What do I put over here? Because there's a Nintendogs. There's OBS, right? Okay.
Did you get that tweet ready to be shown?
No. Where'd you send it to me at? Discord?
Yes. No, Slack.
Slack. Okay. Cool. Yeah, just a second.
Look, Jeff, this is the wrong overlay. Thank you, Benji.
Thank you, Benji.
I still have my old Coke Zero.
I'm sorry about that, man. All right, that looks better. And there's the tweet. What do I got to do to bring up the tweet? I could do browser. No, window capture. They should be able to hear you now.
Can they hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yes, they hear me now. They did it. You did it, Jeff.
All right, let me.
Jeff, what?
Yeah, what?
I'm curious. Why couldn't they hear me for a little bit?
Because I switched from the GamesBeat scene selection to the last in the Nintendogs scene collection, and it's muted from the last time we ended the episode. Because I unmuted us on the GamesBeat one since we were starting there, but then when I moved over here, it was muted from when we finished last time. And I'm like, hey, we're clear. That's still okay. Let me just add a transition to this thing, and then we'll be ready. Let's do a slide. That's gonna look professional. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's early.
Yeah, let's do it. Just remind me that I set it to window capture, so when it's time to show that thing, that's where it's at.
Jeff is a little bit low, Christian says.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm definitely a little bit low. Let me turn. Ooh. Oh no, I'm just on the wrong thing. Okay, let's fix some of this audio stuff. Let's fix because now you might hear an echo, you might not, depending on the latency there. Let me fix that.
Green thumbs. This is just literally like the cabinet I had since I was a kid. I do not have like gamer shelves with LED lights. I just have my childhood cabinet that I throw some shit on top of. I got a new one there. I got Donald and Mickey from Kingdom Hearts next to the Rocketeer.
You guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, everything got reset. So let me just fix this audio real quick. Let's bring up that music.
It reset. Ooh. Am I an old person that I think the whole gamer shells and the LED lights is almost a little tacky? Am I just old?
Hey, you guys
no, I mean,
start cheering
yeah,
now.
you're old, but also it's fair.
Let's get this over with.
Okay, so chat heard that probably. Did Mike hear that? Probably not.
I heard it. No,
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. All right, let me go get these kids set up real quick, and then we'll get started.
Okie dokie.
What?
Their request seems to have exasperated Jeff, whatever it was. I don't know if I would change much, Pablo. I'm not sure if I would change very much. I think Super Metroid is about as close to a perfect video game as you can get. I don't know. I guess I don't know I'm trying to think what problems there might be. Like you get lost sometimes, but that's kind of part of it. I love the wall jump. I think it's great because it's like it's not a secret ability, but it's one that you almost don't know you can do, and it's hard to pull off, and you don't need to use it, so that's okay. And then like these days, like when I play it now, I've gotten so good at it that I can use it basically wherever, and I can almost do these shortcuts and stuff. I love the wall jump. Am I excited for Gamescom? Zero Mission is not way better than Super. I like Zero Mission a lot. It's not better than Super Metroid. For one thing, Zero Mission, it basically just tells you where to go next every single time. So it's there's not as much exploring or getting lost, and I think that's part of the fun. It's still very good. Gamescom. I guess to be honest, I'm not excited. I don't know why. I just don't feel that in my bones. I think it's going to be interesting. But we'll see. I have a feeling none of the big Mikey things are gonna. I don't think we're gonna be hearing about like Final Fantasy and Nintendo stuff, or things like that. So I don't think like the Mikey stuff's gonna be showing up there. What whiskey are you looking at the moment? I've been drinking a lot of PD Isla Scotch. So I have an Ardbeg right now that I'm also at the bottom of the bottle of 10-year. I also got my hands on that Nick Offerman edition of Lagavulin. It's an 11-year finished in a Guinness casket. It's very nice. It's really good stuff. But yeah, I've been on a big peaty Scotch kick lately. That's my whiskey. I used to be a bourbon guy, and I still enjoy a bourbon, but now I have more expensive, refined tastes because I'm so mature. I didn't even start Axiom Verge 2. I'll be honest. I thought Axiom Verge 1 was okay. I wasn't as high on that one as everyone else, so I'll have to get back to that at some point. We'll see. Yeah, we're going to talk about the 30th anniversary of the SNES. Give you some booze. You come here, I'll give you some booze. I'm not sending you booze. I know some people like mail like little like containers of their scotch to friends and they like share it like that. That sounds like work to me. Is Lagavulin not expensive in the UK? Man, I need to move to the UK then. I want to go do a tour of like the distilleries on Isla someday. That's like my dream. The one drink you should order from Trader Sam's Benji Bop is probably a Shipwreck. And I think that's pretty classic tropical tiki drink there. It tastes good and it comes in a fun glass. Truckin' Zombie Head, also very good. Everyone's asking me a lot of alcohol questions.
Weird.
And I have too many answers for them. I'm concerned about myself.
Okay, so let me try that one more time.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now!
Yeah, I
mic. Hang on, yo. I just want to make sure that's not going through my mic. Let's see here.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start.
All right, yeah, there we go. And then last thing, let me just make sure it's recording to the proper channels.
So people say there's an echo.
Yeah, there might have been an echo a second ago. I think I fixed it.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now!
Is there an echo now?
Fixed.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. Where is that desktop?
Jeff, may I ask a question?
Yeah, I suppose so.
How do things get so horribly reset each time?
We use a lot of free software that isn't very reliable.
You know what? Fair point.
You would imagine there's profiles to save on the Go XLR, and I save that. Like I'll hit the save button right now. But also like occasionally it gets messed up because I need to go do stuff with other podcasts, and I mix stuff up a little bit there. But a lot of times it's just I restarted the computer and everything got lost for some reason.
Are you sure it's not just because you're a stupid piece of shit?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that's not the reason. All right.
Well, I'll start a GoFundMe to get you nicer software.
Very considerate. All right, everybody. I think we're ready to go. Mike, you good?
Oh, I'm good, baby.
You know what? Okay. I need to move this up here. Let's move that up here. Yes. There we go. And that way, when I go to this Twitter thing, it won't be wrong. Okay. All right, I'm good. I'll do a countdown. I'll start recording. I'll play the music, and you will go and start hosting. Does that sound good?
Sounds fantastic.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Mike, can you not hear it, Mike?
No, I don't hear it.
All right. Well, there we go. Good start, everybody. I must
Jet
have.
Sandberg's already criticizing our long mic check process here. Now you pull that shit.
That's you know what the criticism's just gonna make it take longer. They're just gonna make it worse. All right, how did I mess this up this
Anytime you
time?
guys say something, that's another 5 minutes.
It's another 5 minutes. All right, let's check this.
You guys hear me? Start cheering now!
I hear it very, very softly. I think it's going from your mic or
Let's
something.
get this over with.
Okay, hang on.
Chat, don't leave. You don't have to check the replay. We're starting soon, I promise.
Let me make sure I'm using the right thing on here. Maybe that's what the problem is. Yes, that's the problem.
Hey, you guys hear me? Stop.
Is that better?
Yes, I heard it.
Hey, you.
All right, one more time. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm not, but I'm going to go anyhow. 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I'm a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. That's it. There's no more left. We're all you got. This week.
If you're not happy with these woofs, too bad.
Too bad. This week, the SNES turned 30 in the US. We're going to talk about that Pokemon Presents a little bit. And we're also going to talk about our favorite Switch games so far. Jeff, how are you doing?
I don't know. It's early. We had some technical difficulties getting started. Before we started, you mentioned that my voice sounded different and it's weirding you out because you think I'm the only person that happens to in the morning.
It's completely normal now. It's already
right.
normal.
Well,
again.
that's the thing. It's normal now because I've been stressed out trying to get the show to start, so my vocal cords have tightened up again.
Well, I'm glad that I was calling you names while you're doing that and probably
that
making
helps.
it worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get that voice really dialed in. I appreciate that, Mike. Good looking out.
Yeah. Well, if it might stress you out to hear that chat says I'm kind of quiet now.
Nah, it's fine. We can fix that. Nah, I really doubt that's the case, but you go ahead.
We'll
I
see.
just turned you up a little bit.
Maybe he's in a league of his own, and that's actually not the right use of that phrase at all. That's
You shouldn't have called attention to it because by the time people realized that had nothing to do with what was going on, we would have moved on, and people would have been like, "Huh, all right, maybe he meant it in a different way that I haven't heard before."
Yeah. All right. I think first though, we need to start with the thing that has made me really mad this week.
Okay.
If that's all right with you. Are you ready for this?
I think I'm ready for this. Let me hit the button here. See if they're. I hit a button, Mike, and I'm now looking at a tweet, and this is from Wario64, and you told me to add this here, so it's here. It's Time Spinner. It's on Xbox Play Anywhere. It's $8 on Xbox Live. Hashtag ad. Why does this make you so mad?
Yeah, I don't know if you can play that GIF there. Well,
I can. Just a second.
Okay, yeah, it's just my brother, Chris, who he sent me this. He's like, wow, look at this game. It looks cool. And I was like, yeah, I played it 2 years ago. It's good. And then he's like, and I want you guys to look at this. He's like, wow, it looks like Mega Man X. And I got mad at saying it's the most like Symphony of the Night inspired Symphony of the Night clone ever. And then he's like, I don't know. And then he argued with me for a while. And I got very mad. I went to Twitter. And I think because I was like, he says it looks like Mega Man X, that people were like trying to be like, well, I see his point because there's a video game character in it. And boss fights take place in a room with doors. And like, the person moves like X. And I'm like, how do they move like X? They walk. Doesn't even do the Mega Man jump, which is the most basic. Look at it. She's throwing that hammer literally in that same arc that they always do in
Castlevania. Yeah.
It's Castlevania. It's literally inside of castles with Sting. Somebody is like, well, it's in a cave just like Mega Man X. Bitch, every video game level has a cave. Every video game has cave levels. But every video game takes place in castles. You know what games take place in castles? Castlevania. So it's fine that it's a Symphony of the Night clone. That's clearly their intention. I mean, look at the HUD. Look, that's literally the same thing as from Symphony of the Night. They knew what they're doing. It's fine. But to stop trolling me and trying to be like, well, I can see his point, or even be like, actually, it looks more like Mega Man to me. It's the most Symphony of the Night-ass looking game ever. Run a damn poll, Jeff.
All right, here we go. Yeah, keep ranting while I do this poll. Okay.
You guys think very carefully here. I am not in the mood to be trolled right now.
Guys, I wouldn't mess with them today, please. I have to deal with it.
Honest.
Oh God.
Be honest. Go ahead. If you really think this looks, if you looked at this and there was like, getting some big Mega Man X vibes from this. People on Twitter, I just have played Symphony of the Night. I think they all been lying about it. They just don't know what that game looks like. And their only reference for 2D action
it's like
scores
is
it's
Mega Man. Joke. It's like person whose first movie was Boss Baby watching their second movie, getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this.
Getting a lot of Boss Baby, getting a lot of Mega Man X vibes from this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I have begun the poll, I believe. I think it usually takes a second to show up. Yeah, there we go.
You guys are in trouble.
Uh-oh, please don't, people. Please don't.
Your problem is that you think I can't hurt you.
Don't test them.
I have ways. You haven't seen me be vindictive in a while. I've been a pretty happy Mikey for a while here now. You just wait. Like, come on. Like, let's be clear, it's a good game. You guys should play it. But it's the most Symphony of the Night. You even have a fairy. You even have a familiar.
It really is Symphony. But like everyone else was jumping on the bandwagon, so I'm like, I don't need to do this too. You're so right about like the way the weapons work, like the overhead, like sort of like the axe isn't even connected to her, and the big sword and stuff like that, and the numbers coming off of things looks exactly the way like Castlevania does it, and yeah.
Look, you can see the mini map on the one thing in the top right. It's literally just the same kind of mini map from Symphony of the Night. Like, it's fine. It's a good game. It is just 100% Symphony of the Night. And if the character having a slightly bigger head than Alucard's model is suddenly like, well, this is big Mega Man X vibes. Like, okay, I don't know. I don't know.
Mega Man X vibes. Yeah, that's definitely overstating it. I see some influence from the Mega Man X franchise, but like in the same way I see influences from a lot of games. But it is definitely like 4 parts Symphony of the Night and like half parts anything else. Like, it's so much Symphony of the Night.
That's fine.
But I mean, let's see what the poll says so far.
So far, it says 60% Symphony of the Night, which is okay. I'm glad it's winning, but
it wasn't like, a second ago.
It should be. It wasn't. Maybe it hasn't refreshed. It should be 100%. It's insane to me. I think people are just trolling me. Just trolling me. 61% Symphony of the Night. I get it. That I've actually struggled with that my entire life. People have had way too much fun make me mad because apparently I'm funny when I'm mad. I don't know what they're talking about, but people like to egg me on.
Well, Mike, I hope you got it out of your system, and I hope the poll goes your way. What happens if it doesn't? Like, you're just gonna... is it going to be nothing but like angry stories on games beat about this for a very long time?
You will feel physical pain.
Oh, okay,
you
cool.
You specifically will be attacked in some manner.
Please, people, please help me.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Help me.
You'll find out. All right. Okay. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that would just ruin my day yesterday when I got to that fight with Chris. He's going to be furious when he sees this, maybe, because I think he because everyone was trolling me. I think he thought every people were actually taking his side, which made me more upset because he's like, "Yeah, see, people agree with me."
Like, no, they think you're a fool. They're just trying to make me mad.
I feel like I almost shouted like Colossus in the X-Men arcade game, like. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. You even kind of got the lo-fi sound to it as well in there.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Time Spinner, is on sale on Switch apparently, and it's a fun Metroidvania if you want to play that. So, go for it. All right, you ready for some news now, Jeff?
I am ready for some news. Before we get to that, I want to let everybody know you can send in super chats. We'll answer your questions, or you can join the Discord, discord.gg/GameMess, and then there's like a way to get to the Patreon from there and the secret channels. You can ask questions there. And if you're watching this video live, please hit that like button. It helps people find the show. We're doing it at a different time, so it'll really help this week if we can get some of those likes.
Yeah, we're trying to finish up here before the Xbox Gamescom thing starts. I know you guys are all going to be wanting to watch that, and we have to watch it for work. So
For work, it's our job.
That's right. And yeah, we've already got some questions in for Super Chats. Thank you very much. If you guys want to tell us your favorite Switch game in Super Chat, we're going to be talking about that later. All right. Not the biggest news week ever for the old Nintendogs here, but the SNES did celebrate its 30th anniversary in the U.S. yesterday on August 23rd. Jeff, did you have any feels about this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I this was like before I realized, or I had like a good way of like knowing when stuff was coming out. I was still pretty young, and was still like trying to get Nintendo games from my parents, like NES games from my parents. So suddenly the Super Nintendo's out, and I'm like, oh man, am I ever gonna get that? And we got it a few years after it came out, so like this particular anniversary isn't like something I experienced firsthand, but still, it's like, man, I really love the Super Nintendo. So many great games. I'm playing a lot of Super Nintendo games right now, because of like stuff like the Retroid Pocket, and it's like such a I try to be fair to like that first generation of 3D consoles that we got to after this, where it was like they were figuring stuff out. It was almost like going back to the Atari but for 3D, but it was really that backtracking was really emphasized because the 16-bit generation was so good in figuring out what games were. There were so many good ideas all coming to fruition at that time. Ideas that started maybe on the NES got so much better. Yeah. It was just people got so good at making games right at that time, and the hardware really shone in that way because games looked great. They were timeless. So yeah. That's how I felt.
There's two unique generations in that they're kind of just able to build off of the like experiments and figuring stuff out of the previous one, and a lot of stuff was figured out in that NES generation. So then like that 16-bit era was just really like going hard on that stuff, making masterpieces after masterpieces, and that kind of GameCube, PlayStation 2 era reminds me of that too, to a degree.
Right, they got there with that as well. It's a sort of timeless games, timeless looks.
Right. I remember I was about 4 or 5, and I moved pretty shortly after it came out to the house that I really grew up with and remember. But this kind of ties me to that first house I lived in, because I do remember for a split, like a little bit there, the Super Nintendo was in my parents' bedroom, and I have some very early memories just going in there and playing Super Nintendo. I remember there was a Batman Return. I don't know why. The vivid memories you have of being really young. I vividly remember seeing an ad for Batman Returns in my mom's bedroom, stuff like that. I also remember the one time she was dressing me and the zipper caught my wee-wee a little bit. But those are my 3 main memories of my parents' bedroom when I was a real little kid.
I mean, yeah. All traumatizing things, for sure. Batman Returns and that, yeah. I have similar feelings because like I don't like remember like where the Super Nintendo was normally. I guess it was in the basement, and I guess the one memory I have of that was Donkey Kong Country and Thanksgiving, and that's why I always associate that game with Thanksgiving and every 4-day holiday, of Thanksgiving. Recently we've had those because like before it was like so busy around Thanksgiving time you couldn't really take time off, but recently it's like after Thanksgiving, things do slow down a little bit, so you could like take that weekend to yourself a little bit. And I've been like playing Donkey Kong Country during that time because I just remember everyone in my family, like extended family, coming over to my house for Thanksgiving, and we spent a lot of time, hanging out. But I would just go down the basement and play this new Donkey Kong Country game, and it was like such a warm, fuzzy memory. But then, like later, I brought the Super Nintendo up into my room and had an old black and white CRT that was just that no one was using, and put that in my room and played like a lot of Super Nintendo games in black and white in my bedroom. And I remember like watching Dave Letterman and seeing MST3K for the first time on some over-the-air channel there, and like being like, "What is this?" And watching the Olympics at that time, and Dave Letterman's mom like always being interviewed for that stuff. But like that stuff.
Dave's Letterman mom. That's who I associate with Thanksgiving because she would guess the pies.
Yeah. Yes.
Or no, he would guess her pies, and it was always great.
Yes,
man, I loved Letterman.
Yeah, me too. And it was like, that was, and Super Nintendo was all a part of that really important time of my childhood, like establishing the things I enjoyed for the rest of my life, all right there in my bedroom on a black and white TV. So yeah, Super Nintendo, good console.
It sure was. We talked about it a few episodes ago, our favorite games and stuff. I think me and you were both Super Metroid on that one, if I recall correctly. But yeah, there's a tons of great stuff there. So yeah. Happy birthday to the Super Nintendo, not the Super Famicom. Screw that.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. The Pokemon Presents happened the last week. We talked about that a little bit on GamesBeat Decides. Do you have any other sort of big thoughts on that thing?
I guess I'm like cooling off on my sort of dismissiveness of Legends Arceus a little bit. Is it
Arceus.
Arceus,
My
right?
other brother, also who's a wrong idiot, thought it was Arceus. So yeah, it's Arceus.
They all take turns. Everybody, don't worry.
They
all take turns. Listen. It looks cheap, but so do Pokemon games. So have they always. So what? I'll try to play, and I know gameplay is not like we were talked about this on a recent episode, or maybe it was GamesBeat Decides, like hearing like gameplay is all that matters, and it's definitely not. But gameplay is pretty important to a Pokemon game, and that's why it's been so timeless through all this, for decades now. So I'm willing to give it a chance and see, but I'm like disappointed that it looks so flat and the textures look so terrible, but. They probably have to scale it down because their Game Freak's it turns out not as good as Nintendo proper at like getting the most out of Switch hardware or any Nintendo hardware. So they probably just have to scale back to make sure that this thing can run on a Switch. So I don't blame them too much.
It's incredible how like the same system that does like Arceus can do a Luigi's Mansion 3, and I understand the difference between like an open world game and not, but even like compared to like Mario Odyssey, which maybe isn't a full open world game.
I mean, Breath of the Wild. I mean, it doesn't look as good as Breath of the Wild, a launch game, and so it's like. And I know Breath of the Wild has a certain artistic style to it that really takes it to the top.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, this game's aping that artistic style in a lot of ways too.
Right, but it's like also like kind of missing some of the point. Like with Zelda, like with Breath of the Wild, like the world is empty, and you go to these towns and they only have a few people in them, and it's all part of the story. But the story worked backwards from the technology, right? They couldn't have a lot of people in these environments, so they're like, oh, this takes place 100 years after the fall of civilization, and this is just like a few roving bands and a few settlements of the survivors, and so we're gonna build the whole world to make it feel like that, and it worked backwards from that. And Pokemon is just kind of like, we're gonna strip things back because making this game run is gonna be hard, and that's how it feels when you look at it. And that's not what Zelda doesn't feel like. Oh, this was gonna be hard, so we made these decisions. It looks like they made the decisions because that was the purpose from the beginning, and that's a subtle difference, but it's important. But I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm like cooling off on like being like, oh, this looks like a fan game or whatever.
Yeah, Mattathias brings up a good point, a good comparison point in chat. Monster Hunter Rise, which is a pretty good looking. Like it's obviously a Switch game, and we can compare it to World and like see the ways it doesn't look as good, but it is doing very well for Switch, right? And that's a really good bar there. And we know Capcom has somehow become very good at that stuff, at like getting the best out of
deals
hardware.
with the devil, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Nintendo is usually good at that too. But
Game Freak's not Nintendo though. That's the big thing here. Game Freak is not Nintendo. It's I mean, of course they're intrinsically linked, but Game Freak is like a co-equal owner of the Pokemon company with Nintendo, and clearly they just don't have the same chops as Nintendo proper. But I think Monster Hunter Rise might be a very good point of comparison because we still don't fully know what Arceus is going to play like, and there's a very good chance this could just be more like a Pokemon Monster Hunter sort of situation rather than a Breath of the Wild. So if we get to that point and it's not nearly as refined or good looking as Monster Hunter Rise, that will be very noticeable.
Jeff, I do not play Mario Kart Tour. I probably will never play Mario Kart Tour, but I was excited to see that they are adding Kamek.
Yeah,
is that how you say that?
I would say Kamek, but I don't know either. That's just guessing.
Kamek. Yeah, that seems weird to me. I mean, I don't think it's wrong because I just never heard a character say Kamek or Kamek.
Can we like figure out the etymology? Like, can we just like work backwards from like what it's trying to say? I don't like
Kamek. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it means like it means magic turtle in Japanese.
Yeah, probably something like that. I was gonna be like kamikaze like mech, but that's probably not it.
How about we end this other poll? We can start pulling. How do you pronounce Kamek or Kamek? In the meantime,
I gotta spell stuff phonetically. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Oh, but we'll find out the results. Here's the results of the Time Spitter poll. 67% says it looks more like Symphony Night, and 32% say it looks more like Mega Man X. A70 vote on that. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, I know I had to threaten you all, but we got there.
I guess we should have let Chris be here to threaten people too to make it fair, but who cares about fair?
It's not fair. This is my podcast. I do what I want. He's probably working. He's probably busy. I tweeted that we were starting. He could have seen it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's his fault.
Anyways, K-Mix/Comic is being added to Mario Kart Tour, and for people who don't know, he was I don't know. Kamek was originally going to be one of the racers in Mario Kart 64 and got replaced by Wario at the last second. But there's the character was modeled. You can see them in the character selection screen in early betas or early preview versions of the build. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Kami does mean God. I know that because of Dragon Ball. So is it Kami Mech? I don't know. I'm trying to think about how you pronounce this game, though. Iron Mike was helping. All right. But yes, so KMech/Comic is now in Mario Kart Tour. Jeff, does that excite you? I know you're busy getting this poll set up.
Yeah. I mean, it more than anything kind of just makes me man, I hope all this cool stuff that they're doing for Mario Kart Tour shows up in the next real Mario Kart game. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But I mean, it's cool. It's better than K-Mech. No, I'm saying K-Mech Comic never being playable anywhere. I guess it increases the likelihood that we would see him in a future thing. But I'm not going to play Mario Kart Tour either, so I'm only so excited about it. But it looks cool whenever whenever a video of it pops up on my Twitter feed or whatever.
I hope that they are a character in the next actual Mario Kart game. It's so weird to me that we just didn't get a bit more DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That would have worked that well. I've always been a big fan of this character. I like the idea of Kamek as Bowser's Lancer more so than Bowser Jr., to be honest. I remember being excited in Mario Galaxy when that character kind of had a role to play again, because it worked really well in Yoshi's Island, right? That was kind of fun stuff. And
him being the number one henchman, the right hand man, has always been a good use of that characture. /
kind of Bowser's only parent or parental figure. I like that. I wish I would almost play into that more. I wish there's old man Kamek now is kind of not taunting, but reprimanding Bowser sometimes. That'd be good stuff.
Totally. And it could be Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, where he's I'm not your father, but I'm your daddy. That sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, he totally is Bowser Jr.'s daddy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's good stuff. All right. Hey, WarioWare Get It Together got a demo. Jeff, you've played it. I haven't even touched that yet. I don't know why. I'm adverse to demos. I don't know why. I don't like playing demos. I just played the game.
A demo killed your parents. We all know. We all get it.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to bring that up because it's a painful memory, you jerk. But hey, yes, that did happen.
Guys, gotta live in your truth, man. WarioWare Get It Together is... I played through once on the Switch Lite, and I played through the demo, and I'm this is different than what I remember. It's still pretty good, but it's different. And do I like that? And then I played through 4 times on the Switch proper on the TV. And as I was doing that, it was okay, no, I think I totally do get this. This is cool. Some of the characters, it's frustrating occasionally when you get to a mini game that you know how to and you're using a character that controls in a weird way, and you're oh man, how do I solve this with this character? But to me, that just means it's going to be more interesting for longer, because these games that you play 3 or 4 times, it's okay, now I've fully mastered this. That's not necessarily the case with this one. I also think that it could be a really fun couch party game. It's the kind of thing where I think it's not going to be, I think, quite as accessible as something like a Jackbox Party Pack, but it's definitely in that wheelhouse where people can look at this, understand I control this character does that, and I need to go just do these weird things. And even if I lose, I'm still having a good time because other people are probably figuring it out. And I don't know. But so far I've really enjoyed it. I unlocked all the characters that you can unlock in the demo. They do all play pretty differently, and but it still has all of that really good humor, the really good setups, the really good sort of accoutrement where it's graphical effects are popping off in between the things, and the music's speeding up, and Wario's laughing at you or whatever between games. All that stuff still works super well. It looks really good in HD, and yeah, I cannot wait to play this game, the real one. So I'm about to pre-order it since we're still in Nintendo jail, but I'm I'll just wait and see if they get it to us.
No, yeah, that's man. I almost forget we're in Nintendo jail sometimes. I need to bring that back up again. And
I mean, when the whole world's Nintendo jail, it's hard to tell.
We've been working on that tunnel behind your Return of the Jedi poster there, but it's not quite through. It's not quite ready.
It's a good thing they don't.
But
They would never listen to this podcast, or else we'd be in trouble. But you're right. Yep, it's right back there, everybody.
We've been hiding the dirt in our pants. And just stripping it off.
I'm using little amiibos to dig it out, and they're all like they're rubbed down the nubs down. The Shovel Knight amiibo, exactly. Yeah.
Actually, no, because he rests on his shovel. The shovel.
Yeah, you would think he'd be good, right? Exactly. It actually turns out.
Like looking at my amiibos, being which one would be best for digging?
For digging out of prison, yeah.
The Banjo-Kazooie one's pretty good because Kazooie's got her her one wing like this. You can dig the shit out with that thing, man. You can dig like crazy.
He dug through 200 yards of shit with nothing but an amiibo and a dream of the beach.
There you go. Look at this. This is prime digging material here.
Yeah. There you go.
There's some pointy bits there.
Because you got to just loosen the dirt. That's all you're doing, and that would be great. Because all those tooth combs of the wing, and then it's like it has like all the dirt could fall down like right around their necks. Yeah, that's great.
There you go. Thanks, Banjo-Kazooie. I'm sorry, I always said you weren't as good as Mario 64. You're having me get out of prison. All right, okay. Quake has launched for Switch. It's really relaunched for everything. They did a new kind of remaster / port for modern systems. I've been playing it, and it's fantastic. I'm a big fan of whenever these PC games that are sometimes inaccessible to play on modern platforms get a treatment like this.
Yes,
it's great stuff, and I love these old shooters. This has been my jam lately. Are these shooters where you're just in these like non-linear levels and you're going around and shooting things and finding keys and opening doors? I'm all about that right now, and Quake has been continuing to scratch that itch after I beat Doom 64 about a week ago.
It's I bet this game also does pretty good on the Switch. It's the kind of thing where it's like, it's $10. It's a well-known classic franchise that a lot of like Nintendo fans probably haven't played before, and if they have, they played Quake 64 a long time ago, but that's probably not a huge audience really. So I bet it does pretty good on the Switch, and it seems like it runs pretty well. I know that there were some framey issues, but they said that they're issuing a patch for it very soon to fix that stuff up.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. It's not a big deal. There are some frame drops here or there.
It's the Switch.
It's the Switch. It is funny because it is like, Quake from 1996. But look, it is still a 3D game and all of that stuff.
Night Dive Studios has been really good about this stuff, though. Night Dive Studios has done a lot of these sort of upgrades and enhancements. I think they might have done Doom 64. I might have got that up and running, but I know they've done stuff like Turok. They did the Turok games recently, things like that.
I haven't played Turok in a long time. I wonder what that would be like going to.
I still have like a really soft spot for Turok for sure. Turok and Pilot Wing 64 and all those early N64 games.
I'll tell you what, Turok is like, that is an Nintendo 64-ass Nintendo 64 game, right?
Yeah,
like
it kind of doesn't get more N64 than that. Not really, no.
Like that is like the poster child for the whole like kind of ugly texture thing, but almost
fog.
in an endearing way. Yes,
yeah,
and
10 feet of vision, and then nothing but fog after that.
As a 4-player split screen, because of course it does.
Right. It's like, they're selling the system around, we could do volumetric fog, and everyone's like, oh, thank God, because we need to hide the fact that we can't load this level. Man, the later Turok games definitely solved some of that stuff, but they kind of don't have that same nostalgia for some reason, probably because of that stuff, where it's like, it looks less like a Nintendo 64 game because it looks better. But yeah, Night Dive Studio has been really good at these sort of ports and upgrades and enhancements, and I'm glad that they are continuing to get work. There's a lot of these games that out there that, they could do Quake 2 and 3 next or whatever. That'd be fun.
They could do Hexen Heretic.
Yes.
They can. Yeah, do like some of those ones that came out of 3DO, like Blood and stuff like that. I know. I can't remember if it was done, but somebody's doing Power Slave, which is which was apparently one of the best Saturn games, and it's like those old school first person shooters, but with a surprising amount of Metroidvania kind of concepts in there. Apparently, I never played it, and it's supposed to be fantastic. I'm excited to play Power Slave.
They should do Slayer, the Dungeons and Dragons game for 3DO. That would be fantastic.
There was one thing called like Pod or POD or something, and I remember as a kid I really wanted to play it for some reason. Excuse me, Dark Forces. I'd love to have that on Switch. I know Jedi Outcast is on Switch. I don't think Jedi Knight or Dark Forces are, and that would be fantastic.
Yeah. There's a lot out there. I'm very excited this stuff's happening. I'm right there with you, where like these things are totally a scratch and itch for me as well. And I have been playing this Quake game on PC, but I'm glad it's on Switch, and it seems like it's a lot of people are playing it there. And again, I think Switch kind of justifies these things for a lot of these companies, where it's like, we'll put it out everywhere. Switch is probably going to still sell the best and might help us out. I mean, I think Quake will be a little bit closer on like PC and some of these other platforms than some other games, but I bet it still outsells everything on the Switch.
Yeah, so it is Night Dive, by the way, that's doing Power Slave. So
okay, that's awesome.
That's fantastic. I am very excited about that. It apparently combines the elements of the Saturn and PlayStation versions. And I always heard the Saturn version was mostly better. Apparently, it had better lighting somehow and stuff like that. So, but there's probably some things for the PlayStation version to add. That I'm going to play the hell out of Power Slave. Also named after the Iron Maiden album, and I'm an Iron Maiden fan, so that's good stuff. All right, that's it for news. I have a couple questions here. We got some super chat questions. Why don't we get into that, Jeff?
Yeah, let's get into them.
Absolutely. All right, so Benji Bob says, the Arceus deep dive was so interesting to me because myself and other huge fans of the franchise are pumped for the game. But the more casual audience or outside observers were calling it super mediocre and visually unappealing. Was Nintendo/Game Freak's plan all along to beat us down with the same formula and acceptable graphics animations for 10 plus years so that when we finally did get something different, we would go crazy with excitement? Because I think I have Stockholm Syndrome. Thanks as always. I don't think there was a big plan.
No, yeah. It's easy to look back at like history and say these things were deterministic, or they were planned from the beginning because that's the way things worked out, and now like things fit together so nicely. Usually what happens is a series of events occurred and people try to make the best of the situation at the time. And right now, I mean, it's definitely like it went according to a certain kind of plan, which is spend as little money as possible to make as much money as possible. That's always been their thing, and that just so happens, I think, to lead to situations like this where we mostly are accepting of what they do because that's how they've always done things.
Yeah, I felt the same way, though. Like, I got sick of the formula. Sun and Moon was rough for me because I was like, please do something different. But like the 8 gym leaders and whatnot, and they kind of changed it. But in a lot of like the sky, like there weren't gym leaders, but there were these caves, and you still fought the Pokemon, and it just felt the same still. And that game was awful with the ridiculously long onboarding and just people talking every 2 minutes. It drove me crazy. So I'm totally there in that. I'm very excited for a change, and that alone will help me overlook some of the visual stuff. And again, it's not like, I don't think it's like gross. It's not like I can't stand looking at it. I will get over it.
Yes, like once I'm in there and playing stuff, I'll be much more worried about the mechanics than the way it looks. And as long as it's like visually easy to understand, that's probably fine. And also, and this is a little bit letting them off the hook, but I am going into this like this is almost a prototype for what Pokemon could be in the future. This is going to be the first entry, and if it works well enough, we'll get a sequel that sort of builds on this idea and makes it, realizes what it could be to its full potential. And again, that's letting them off the hook a little bit, but that's just the way they've done things. So I'm willing to give them that opportunity if it means getting something new from Pokemon.
I mean, the experiment started with Sword and Shield because it had those kind of open area places.
Yes.
So yeah, that's clearly the direction they want to go in. Benjamin also asks, do you think we're going to get a lot of, is this game worth $50 questions from WarioWare? The demo is really fun, but it sounds like the type of game people will try to dunk on because it's Nintendo. I think people are generous to WarioWare. I think a lot of people just have a soft spot for that series and like Wario. I don't think it's going to be too big issue. Plus, like $50 is discounted already.
Yeah. Right.
There is already a bone thrown there. Like even Skyward Sword, if that was $50 instead of $60, I don't think it would have gotten the grief that it did.
Yes, I agree. Like that $10 discount is going to go a long way towards sort of neutralizing those arguments where people are going to be like, oh, is it worth $50? It's like, well, it's already discounted. What are you complaining about? Like, okay. Like, I think that's going to how those conversations go. And if you want to wait. It probably will go on sale someday in like a year from now, and you'll be able to get it for $40 maybe one day. So yeah, it'll be fine.
Jeff, what are the super chats asking about?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go with the RDX son of a fat. I actually have a question about this. He says Psychonauts 2 is the highest rated game of 2021. I believe that's on OpenCritic. I'm not sure if that's true on Metacritic, but it's definitely getting really good reviews. Mike, you reviewed then. My question is Psychonauts 2 is everywhere, but it's not on Switch, right?
No, it's not on Switch. I was thinking about that because I feel like that's a game, or Psychonauts 1 is a game that if I was Microsoft, I would just release it on Switch.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's the same reason why you wanted to put the first Ori on there and why Sony wants to get the first Horizon on other platforms, right? Just get people playing that game.
Right.
So we'll be excited about the sequel. Yeah, and I don't think, I don't think Psychonauts 2 is something that is going to very easily happen on Switch, unfortunately. Even though like this game is coming out on other platforms besides from Xbox. It's coming to PlayStation because it was originally a crowdfunded game on Fig, right? Like there's obligations there. They couldn't just turn it into an Xbox exclusive or anything like that. Its Metacritic is at 87. I'll tell you what, like that's high. That's higher. That's actually
really
higher than I was anticipating. Like that's almost surprisingly close to Ratchet and Clank's, which is like 88. Yeah,
right.
That actually surprises me. I reviewed this game, Psychonauts 2, which name I forgot for some reason for a second, and I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I do not think it's as good as a Ratchet and like that was kind of my big thing for not going to that 5 out of 5 area.
Right.
Is I don't think it's in that upper echelon of fantastic 3D platformers we've gotten recently, which is sort of the Mario Odyssey, the Crash 4, and the Rift Apart. Those are like the 3 that have been really leading the way. And 2 of those are on Switch, and you can play them, and you should play them on Switch, Crash Bandicoot and Mario Odyssey. Now, Psychonauts 2 is still very, very good. I think anybody who likes the first game, or if you just like the idea of a sort of narrative-driven, psychic-themed 3D platformer, you're going to be into it. But yeah.
Shut up, Gaz, in chat saying Bowen Wonderful is better. Can't even get the name right.
Oh, Bowen Wonderful. Whatever it's called. Yeah.
Psychonauts 2, I'm enjoying that as well. It seems like a really solid game overall. I've played the first couple of levels and have enjoyed it. The things that they do where like they change an environment up on you have been really good.
Yeah, it's very, very good level themes.
Design,
I almost want to say, well, level design to me means like the placement of platforms and stuff.
You're
and
right.
that is fine. It's more like the level aesthetics and themes are very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Afro Ahmed, making myself lunch today instead of buying, so spending that money here. We appreciate that, Afro.
Oh, thank you.
You
don't need to eat every day.
Yeah, for real. It's overrated. Will Shredder's Revenge be delayed, or is it still a 2021 release? Did they say it was coming out in 2021? I guess I didn't remember that.
I thought they did. I'll double check.
I probably just assumed it was not going to make it. It's probably what I did in my brain. Shredder's Revenge.
My understanding is that it has a spot in the opening night Gamescom thing.
That sounds right.
And it is set for 2021 right now. So if it's delayed, we're going to hear about it then. But I think we're just going to get the late 2021, like the actual release date tomorrow.
That'll be fantastic. I am looking forward to that game so much.
I cannot wait. Beat 'em ups is another genre that like I've gotten back into, especially the ones that are made for console. Like it's one thing to play the arcade beat 'em ups, like running on a collection or an emulator. Now they're visually impressive and they look cool, but they were designed for quarter munching. So there's not like it's hard to gauge the challenge there. Like, how am I doing good in this game now that I can just have infinite quarters? I don't really know.
Right.
But if it's a Streets of Rage 4 or River City Girls or presumably Shredder's Revenge, it's so much fun. I can't wait for this.
I do kind of want to get that Simpsons arcade machine from Arcade 1-Up, or maybe the Turtles one. One of those ones that has like the 4-player, at least 3-player kind of thing set up with the beat 'em up. But I honestly, I've been pretty satisfied with these new ones that have come out, and that's saving me whatever $800 or whatever those ones cost now.
I was a big fan of The Simpsons. That was my favorite arcade game as a kid, was The Simpsons beat 'em up. I loved that.
It's great.
Game.
It's fantastic. It's great. You always have a good time. You try new stuff, and you're like, before you leave Chuck E. Cheese, you're like, we're gonna go. Major Magics is actually what I went to, but before you leave, you're like, okay, let's actually just go play The Simpsons before we get out of here, so we can actually enjoy this trip.
There's a game I should have played yesterday for the anniversary in the Super Nintendo, was Turtles in Time, which is still game. Fantastic.
Yep.
Pablo Cross said, Chris Minotti's quote, but Mike, Shredder's Revenge looks like Mega Man X. Getting some big Mega Man X vibes. It's made with pixels. Characters walk. It's a video game.
You won the poll, all right?
Yeah. Crane isn't a robot, right? There's a robot. I'll tell you what. Yeah, at least there's robots and turtles. There's Mousers and shit. Just no robots in Time Spinner. Just literally fighting demonic enemies. Just literally like it may as well have been Frankenstein and Dracula that she was fighting. And people would still be like, well, I can see though how it has some Mega Man X in it.
I was gonna bring it back for you here. Where is it? Well, you just continue to yell about it while you're going, but you're done. You're done.
Fine.
Okay.
We're
all right.
fine.
Okay.
We can move on again.
All right.
It's okay. It's okay. What's the
Afro
next super chat?
Afro Ahmed comes in with another super chat. It says, "Is Axiom Verge 2 better than the first one?" It's different. They're definitely different games. The first one is very much just like, here is Metroid, and this one has a lot of other elements to it, and you are like hacking robots and taking them over and stuff, and that's a huge part of what you're doing a lot of times. And you don't really have a traditional projectile weapon. Instead, you have like a melee weapon, and you have a boomerang, and you're exploring this world in ways that almost makes it feel like a 2D sort of Zelda Breath of the Wild kind of thing, where you're just trying different physics things to see if you can get past obstacles. So it's just a whole different thing. I'm not sure if I like it better or not. I never beat the original Axiom Verge, but I think they stand apart from one another, and they stand alone. And even though they're connected story wise, the second one's a prequel.
Oh, really? I beat the first one when it came to Switch. I haven't played the second one yet. I thought the first one was fine. I liked it.
Right.
I would never put it anywhere near that upper echelon. To me,
there's
like
so many good ones right now.
There's four like main like top tier Metroidvanias. There's Symphony of the Night, Super Metroid, and you can maybe throw in some other ones from those series.
I know what you mean.
I think just those two for me.
Yep.
And then Ori, The Will of the Wisps, and Hollow Knight. Those are like the four. And then there's like another tier
and
below
Steamroll
that.
Dig 2, right? Yep.
Yeah, sure, whatever. There's like a tier below that where it's like you have like your Guacamele's and maybe like some of those other like Metroid Fusion. It's maybe even freaking what the one Epic made, Shadow Complex might go there. I don't know. But I wouldn't, Axiom Verge to me was, you know what, I'd probably put it with Cave Story. That's another one I think was maybe slightly overrated. Cave Story, at least, was back in a time where we didn't, like, have many of these, and it stood out for that. So I get it. But when I played through Cave Story, I was like, yeah, this is fine. It's enjoyable enough.
Let's see. We got one from Jeremy G about his favorite Switch game, which we will save for that segment.
Which will be starting now, or is there something?
One more.
Question?
We got Jedi Moss 4 here with a problem with main Pokemon games is they are on a strict 3-year dev cycle due to larger franchise plans. Breath of the Wild had many more years and numerous delays. And I mean, I get that, and that's definitely one of the big factors here. But I would just say, delay these things and try to make them better. But I guess they don't need to delay if they can get this out and it's okay, and then the next one is even better. I don't know. There's arguments both ways.
I mean, I think that's true for the quote unquote mainline, but this isn't really a mainline game. This Legend thing, hence the Legend subtitle. It's a new thing. Like they could have delayed this if they wanted to. So I don't know if I hold to that, at least in terms of this one. Like it certainly was true for Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield had to come out in November of that year when it came out. It was like, it's time. All right.
Yeah, I have no more super chats, Mike. So if you want to get into the big segment, let's do it real quick. I want to remind everybody: if you are watching live, hit that like button. We've got about 170 people watching early this morning, 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. I appreciate it, but if you hit that like button, let's see if we can get up to over 200. That'd be great.
We'll get all those Pacific Coast people.
Yeah, as they're waking up. YouTube will just blow up as soon as they wake up.
I'm tired. All right, favorite Switch games so far, because Switch has got, who knows, maybe a couple years yet, maybe many years. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, I will ask you first. What has been your favorite Switch game so far?
Well, God, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I'm just joking, Mike. I'm just joking. Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's a good game. It's one of the most surprising moments of my life was playing that game and realizing, oh my God, Nintendo has somehow gotten better at making video games. They made some of my favorites of all time. Some of the Zelda games have been my favorite. Some of the Mario games have been my favorite. A bunch of in between, Advance Wars, all this other stuff. Very good at making games. And yet, Breath of the Wild comes along and is so risky and different and challenging in terms of like the concepts for like what this franchise could be. A huge part of that was absolutely the exploration, but I wrote this stuff in my review, but the general, like the concise version of it is, when I fell in love with Zelda, it was with Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, and it was in that second dungeon where I finally learned I wasn't supposed to just hit the boss with the sword. I needed to use the power-up I just got and pick him up and throw him against the wall to break his bottle, and then I could hit him with the sword. I was supposed to use the thing I just learned. And Breath of the Wild took that concept and applied it in a much more analog and sort of more, just a more broad way, where you could be coming up with those ideas, or you could be learning things about the way the world works forever and ever and ever. And if you come up with an idea and then try it, just like I came with the idea, like pick them up and throw them against the wall, where that was very designed, Breath of the Wild made it like, here's a bunch of physics possibilities, a bunch of chemistry possibilities that they called them, and try that stuff, see if it works, and see if your idea can actually get you further in the game. And it worked for me over and over and over, and it was just so satisfying, so good. And also, it's just like, they rethought about like the way people might view games. So if you're coming to a game for the first time ever, where it's like people come to a game and they have ideas about how to solve things, like okay, like there's a chasm here, how do you get across it? And most games are like, we have a very specific way to solve this problem. And a normal person will come to it like, I have an axe, there's a tree, can I just cut it down and go across this chasm? And most games are like, no, what are you talking about? And this game's just like, yeah, that's it. Do that. Go for it. And it's
do that. But it's like also like, oh, also you could like put that tree log in stasis and hit it with a hammer to create stored momentum, and then jump on the log and then fly through the air like that one B tier villain from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, yeah, right. You start with these very basic, like very like human ideas of, this is the way the world works. I understand this stuff, and it actually works in this game. But then you have all of these possibilities on top of that, where you can start experimenting and do whatever. And I really like the idea of being able to go directly to the end as soon as you start the game. That makes that it becomes a choice to ignore that. I really like having options of games where even when you ignore it and that's not what you want to do, ignoring it makes the other choices feel more meaningful. Like, I am going to, like, I know it's over there. I know it's waiting for me. It's not like a thing I have to go do the stuff to go do this. It's like, I'm choosing to go do this stuff to prepare me for that. And that is so much more fulfilling to me. It's such a solid, good, really great game.
Too bad weapon durability has to ruin it all.
You motherfucker!
No, you know I don't. You know I don't.
I know you don't.
Let's go with that. I think that's, it's the same. Man. No. Oh, Matthijs, like, is Mike going weeb on us? No. I have the other probably like super like.
Yeah, Dragon Ball is like diet weeb. It's weeb 0 calories or whatever they call it. Yeah.
No. My pick for favorite Switch game is just Super Mario Odyssey, which I love 3D Mario games. I got into trouble again. I'll get into trouble on Twitter every now and then because I'll say pretty much all the 3D Mario games are better than all the 2D Mario games, and people will get mad at me. I'm surprised that's a controversial opinion, to be honest. But because it was because of the anniversary of Mario World, and I was like, Mario World was my favorite 2D Mario game. I still like most of the 3D Mario games more, but I think the only ones I think I'll say that Super Mario World is better than Sunshine and 3D Land. But even like I'll take 3D World over Mario World now. People get mad at that, but Mario Odyssey is just fantastic. It's probably the best of the 3D Mario games. I can't get over just the unbound creativity there. The weirdness of those levels. Like, some of them are just like Super Mario ideas. Like, this is what a Mario desert level will look like on steroids, and it's fantastic. This is like, you're in like a super metropolitan city, and it's kind of realistic and in a weird, fun way that works. And here's this dragon you're fighting from Dark Souls, and then just like weird things like, here's like it almost looks like something from Nier Automata. It's like a forest, and there's robots trying to replant stuff, and it's playing a surfer song while you're there. Surprise, it's like the best Mario level ever. But the Mario movement has always been so good, and this has the best Mario movement ever because of the cappy mechanics, where you can sort of throw them out, and like obviously use them to copy abilities, and that's great. And there's so much fun stuff with that, with learning you can copy something and then learning that move set and using it to solve puzzles around you. But just like throwing Cappy out there and using him as an additional platform that you kind of hop off of is so much fun. That mid-air die that they added is so great. I'm so glad that they just went to 3D World and added that in, because that is such a fantastic ability. I played through that game multiple times. I've 100%ed it, which is it's a game that is so there's so many. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild in that there's different ways to beat it, but here it's like how much further do you want to go after you beat it? Like, okay, you beat the game, but now you can collect this many stars or moons, and you unlock this other level on the moon, and now you can unlock this thing, and now you could get all of them and do the super hard thing, and or get this, and you unlock this little thing on the castle. It's like reasons to just keep going, and you could just stop when credits roll, but it's a 3D platform that's really fun to 100%. Fantastic stuff.
My kids right now, right this very second, are over there watching a playthrough of Super Mario Odyssey, and when we get done here, Emmy's like, "Hey, I just want to play it." I'm like, "Okay, I'll get you set up once I'm done with the show. You can sit down." And that was like, I mean, I knew we were doing this today, but like, she just kind of asked for Mario, independently of that. She loves that game. It is it's such the ideal Mario, the ideal Nintendo game, where it appeals to everybody. Longtime Mario fans, you can come to it if you're completely new. They have a little bit more faith in players than they've had in some of the other Mario games. Like, I love 3D World, but it was definitely made because they didn't want people to have to worry about the camera. And now they're like, people know how to use a camera, and we can trust our players to actually be able to do this stuff. And by having that faith in us, they can make games that are even more complicated and get to a point where you're doing so many other things and have so many control options. And it really is just the best controlling Mario game ever. I was listening to my kids while playing it while you were talking a little bit. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but like the things they do where like you are bouncing off of walls and doing wall jumps and spins in the air and then diving, and then you get to
this is so crazy.
And then you get to places where you're like, man, they didn't know I was going to get up here, and you find coins up there, and it's like, oh, they did know I was going to get up here. The people making this game fully understand what Mario's capable of, and it's like, okay, that's the cool, like. This game's made by people who are probably also very good at Mario, and it shows in every aspect of the game. And I've also beat it multiple times. I love the game. I'm getting the itch to play it again, like recently and especially now.
Yeah, I replayed it I think it was right after I played 3D World, because I just was like, I want to keep playing 3D Mario games. I think I'm just going to play Odyssey again. And yeah, so fantastic. Ariel Delgado just sent a super set saying, "The fool who dislikes Mario," I believe that's him. And then he says, "Digimon is greater than Pokemon." The Digimon anime is absolutely better than Pokemon. That show was bonkers, man. That when I was a kid, that was my jam. Digimon. There were high stakes Digimon that do not happen in Pokemon. I was hanging out with my nieces. I was babysitting them, and they were watching like the newest Pokemon anime, and I almost became depressed because it's the same exact thing. It's still just like Ash going around Pikachu, and like literally the same 3 Team Rocket people are like trying to capture Pikachu. I was like, how is this the same exact show? And they're still guess that Pokemon. It's like the same announcer person still learning about first. I was like, I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's just like, oh, now there's new kids and this is what they're gonna watch.
Right.
But yeah, it's weird. All right, let's get to what some of our Discord friends and patrons were saying is their favorite Switch game. Benji Bob says, "To my surprise, my favorite Switch game was Fire Emblem Three Houses, my first ever Fire Emblem game. I thought the blend of complex turn-based strategy coupled with Harry Potter or eventually Game of Thrones style groups was really, really intriguing, as well as the completely different story branches you can take, which is rare these days. The game proved the portability of the Switch to me as well, because I was taking this bad boy everywhere in my 100-hour journey. Loved my time with this game. Honorable mentions to Golf Story, very close second, and Mario plus Rabbids. Yeah, Three Houses was good stuff, and I really did like the Three Houses aspect of it. I played through it twice. I didn't quite do the third house ever, but usually when games are like that, I don't replay them. Like, I beat it. That's fine.
Right.
Move on to something else. I want to let's see what happens if you pick this other house, and it can just become, especially in the second act, it becomes a completely different game.
Yep,
really fun.
Yep, I love that game too. It's not my favorite Fire Emblem, but my favorite one is my first one as well, the Awakening. So I totally get it. So if it's your first one, why you fall in love with that.
Canuble says, "I would name a few cool Switch games from the first year of the Switch. The Switch didn't have many games, and it was a cool time to explore something new. I really liked 1-2 Switch. It was like a weird take on the Wii era. Tumblesea was a nice motion control puzzle game. Blossom Tales was a good and cute 2D indie Zelda. Man, 1-2 Switch. I was kind of dismissive of those early Switch games that like they were really intense at first. Be like, see, look, this could basically be a Switch or a Wii. Ha ha ha! Please, we're desperate for this to be a hit. And then I was like, people actually just like the Switch because it's a portable game console, not because it has motion controls again and stuff like that.
Or an HD rumble, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff, right? It was weird at first. Like even Mario Odyssey had too much of that stuff. Like if there's one knock on that game, it's that you still need to like do waggle to perform certain maneuvers for some reason, and that's annoying. Nick Turbo says Animal Crossing New Horizons. The tools breaking is annoying, and it's missing features from New Leaf, but it helped me not lose my mind at the beginning of the pandemic, so that is worth something. Yeah, that game probably had the all-time greatest timing ever for release, right?
It really did. Yep, you kind of can't do better than that. And yeah, I remember getting that game for review and playing it, and just be like, I can't wait for everyone else to get this. It was right as the pandemic was starting, and it really made a difference, and it was like a cultural phenomenon, and for good reason. It was really solid.
It was the first Animal Crossing I actually played for an extended period of time. I think I would play all of them at least a bit, but like never even get to the point where I fully upgraded my house. And I got there and beyond with New Horizons. It was a lot of fun. Again, like everyone was playing it, and we would go to their houses and we would have a fun time. It was really cool. PJM says best Switch game is obviously without question Fire Emblem Three Houses. We had a lot of people saying Fire Emblem Three Houses. I was almost a little surprised.
Me too.
Like, my kind of read on that was that people had stopped talking about that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like I was hearing more people talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 lately and stuff like that. So I'm
maybe
kind of happy.
Maybe they're all just horny on Tumblr, and so we don't see it. Like they're all just on there talking about the characters still. So maybe we're just missing the conversation. That
would also just work for Xenoblade, but yes,
enough.
Fire Emblem, three waifus.
Yeah,
actually, way more than three. It's just all waifus.
Yeah. Oops, all waifus. Yep.
Yeah, Bernadetta, best girl though. Anderson64, favorite non-Breath of the Wild Switch game thus far is Ring Fit Adventure. I lost 70-ish pounds over the span of 2 years, and Ring Fit Adventure was a big part of that, along with eating better and other workout routines. Yeah, that's great, man. I should probably play some Ring Fit Adventure, and see what that's like. That game was that's like one of the not few, but that was like a kind of Wii era style thing that worked really well for the Switch. And they also made it a bit less Wii-ish, right? Like they kind of gamified it a bit more. So I think it made sense on the Switch. A lot of people like Ring Fit Adventure. That's another game that benefited from the pandemic. It suddenly became a lot more popular.
Yep.
Fresh says, my favorite Switch game, even though it's on 3DS first, is SteamWorld Heist Ultimate Edition. While I love Dig 2, this is my favorite SteamWorld game. Takes the XCOM formula and puts it in 2D with an incredible soundtrack from steam-powered Drafts 2. Honorable mention to Mark of the Ninja, which I missed on 360, but caught on Switch. Jeff, I know you don't shut up about SteamWorld Dig 2. What do you think about SteamWorld Heist?
SteamWorld Heist is also very good. It is like a really cool 2D XCOM. I mean, Fresh nailed it, so I don't need to like reiterate too much there. But it has all that style, and it has the great soundtrack. It has a really great soundtrack. I mean, all the SteamWorld games do, but yeah, it's fantastic. Got good vibes. I started that I think on Wii U or 3DS or something like that, and then it was right around when these things were coming out, like Switch was coming out, so I'm like, oh, I'll wait for the Switch version. And then I got on Switch, and then I've never beaten it, so I might go back and play it, although remembering that Mark of the Ninja is on Switch as well is like, oh, I want to play that again. I love Mark of the Ninja.
Wildfire Alex says, it seems like an obvious choice, but we gotta go with the favorites. No More Heroes and No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle Switch ports. Let's go. Oh, and Breath of the Wild, I guess. Man, we are just not No More Heroes, guys.
I am going to try No More Heroes 3. I will make it official. I'm going to try it, everybody. We'll see. Let's see what happens.
Oh, well, I'll talk to you about that later.
I got it.
Okay. I just want to say you could. Right.
Yeah.
Biggie says, I'm having a hard time pinpointing just one favorite Switch game, so I'll just say Hades. Damn, that game is great. Go play Hades, even if you don't have a Switch. Yeah, I love Hades. My one friend's actually like replaying it again when I'm like hanging out with him on Discord, and I'm kind of feeling an urge. I'm shocked that game has Dead Cells got a lot of like DLC and new things added.
Well, they just got it on other consoles though. That's the thing. They just released it on Xbox and PlayStation. So
yeah, I want some Hades expansions.
They'll get there.
What I'm saying.
They'll get there.
I hope so. It's super. It's definitely my favorite of the roguelikes or roguelites or whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
super good stuff there.
Yeah, if it's on Game Pass still, so go try it out if you want. If you haven't.
Yeah, but it's fantastic on Switch. That's where I
Oh yeah,
played it.
same. That's where I played.
Like
Still,
over 60, 70 hours of it or something. Like that was like usually when I play a game that long, I feel it. I remember just one day looking at my playtime for Hades, I was like, what?
yes.
Man, I guess I just played this game every night for like hours and had so much fun. I had no idea I spent that much time on it. Arjun says, here's my story about why I love Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. As a rebellious GameCube loving adolescent, I skipped the Wii and Wii U. I respect that, actually. That's good stuff. However, I had a DS and 3DS and played both Mario Kart DS and 7 religiously. Then when Nintendo revealed the NX/Switch, man, the Nintendo NX, there's a blast for the best. My immediate first thought was, I'm going to play so much freaking Mario Kart in the thing, I'm sold. Since launch, it has been my most played Switch game, and I get to be oblivious to everyone complaining about it being an old ported game. Man, well, it's like the best. It's one of the best-selling games of all time now.
And you know what? It's also one of the best games of all time. It is so good.
It's very good. It's certainly the best. It's probably the best Mario Kart.
I think it's my favorite Mario Kart. I think it's probably the best Mario Kart. It's one of the best looking games of all time. You could still put that game up next to anything that has come out. Period. Anything. I'm serious. Any game. And its art style and the HD Nintendo Funhouse graphics are just so gorgeous on that game on the Switch. The cloud top mountain with like the lightning through the clouds.
Oh, and it plays the Mario Galaxy song.
Right.
That's the best level.
The Animal Crossing level, the Zelda level, it is so good looking.
Is that level where like the Shy Guys are mining or something? Like, ooh.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, other games would be lucky to come close to this art. It's just so far away better than anything else. So yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is fantastic.
Napper says favorite Switch game is Mario Odyssey. Although it is short, it is perfectly paced and has the best controls of any 3D platform. I think it can be short if you just like get to the credits, but again, I've probably spent like 70 hours or something from just probably alone doing the 60 hours, probably doing the 100% run, and then a bit more from replaying it here and there.
Same. Yep, yeah. I'm right there with them.
All right, Jeff, do we have any super chat answers here?
We got a few. Yeah, let's see here. Let me scroll back up, make sure I got them. Okay, so yeah, from Jeremy G, best Switch game, Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, there it is. That's like our most popular answer.
Yeah, Dictator Waifu can imperialize me any day of the week.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I played Blue Lions, which was... I do not regret but it's definitely like the least popular of the Three Houses in terms of who like got picked.
Blue is the only one I haven't done yet. I did the Emperor with Dictator Lady first and enjoyed it, and then I did Golden Deer, and I think I liked that one maybe even more. Golden Deer was really fun.
Yep. Sorry, my kids come up and they're joking around, and Amy put on a diaper, and she doesn't wear diapers, and she's just cracking up, and so it's making me laugh. All right, let's see here. I got a few more. See, yeah, from Jared Helder, Clubhouse Games makes great use of the Switch in tabletop mode. Labo is such an innovative idea, and Bowser's Fury is my favorite gameplay experience. Yeah, I love Bowser. I love all those things actually. Clubhouse Games is fantastic. I've enjoyed Labo. Bowser's Fury is like a really, really good idea with a lot of cool gameplay ideas. I can't wait to see what they do next with Mario.
I think 3D World with Bowser's Fury has been my favorite of the Wii U ports.
Oh,
I
yes,
was shocked
easily.
how much I enjoyed that. I love that a lot. Well, not easily. You just said that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the best games ever.
Oh, I didn't even think about it as a port. You're right. Yeah, just to me that's like it's become a Switch game, but yeah, you're right. That's just so far away better than anything else. But then 3D World with the Bowser, I was thinking like compared to like Zelda and all that other stuff for sure. Let's see, Calvin Atkinson, Smash Ultimate for me is a favorite, or is my favorite. It had so much multiplayer fun and great moments with it, but answer will change if Persona 5 Royal comes to Switch.
Somehow that's a big if. I don't know why it is.
Still a big if somehow. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it for the super chats, I believe. I'm trying to look through and see if anyone else mentioned anything about this topic. I don't think so. Do you have any other favorites you want to bring up?
Yeah, there's some honorable mentions that maybe aren't quite so obvious. Some of the best JRPGs I played. Dragon Quest XI was so good, and I know it's other things, and in some sense it might be better to play on like an Xbox or a PlayStation because you have a better frame rate. But I love having JRPGs portable, and that game still looked really good on Switch, and it was just so much fun. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition has been like my biggest surprise on the console. Man, I liked that game a lot. That is a fantastic JRPG. It's a really good Definitive Edition. if you're excited for Tales of Arise and you haven't played Tales of Vesperia for some reason, you should check that out immediately. There are a lot of very good. So I think Luigi's Mansion 3 was the one that surprised me the most, like in terms of Nintendo stuff. Like I always thought it would be good. I didn't think Luigi's Mansion 3 was going to be fantastic, and it absolutely was.
Yep. I also love Luigi's Mansion. I love Splatoon 2. I've played a lot of Splatoon 2. I always kind of have like an itch right now to go back and play more Splatoon 2. I wish they were still doing like regular big events, but you could still just go play the multiplayer and enjoy that, and that would be great. But it's really making me also want Splatoon 3. Mario Maker 2, like a shout out. Like Mario Maker is one of my favorite games of all time on the Wii U. Mario Maker 2 is still really solid, not quite as great, but still very good. Yeah, and then stuff like Benjibot mentioned in the chat, Golf Story. I love Golf Story. I've started replaying that recently, and it holds up. It wasn't just like right place, right time, like early Switch game that is doing the Mario RPG or Mario Golf RPG stuff that you want, and so you kind of give it a pass. Like I'm playing, I'm like, no, it has like a ton of fun ideas, and it's really varied in terms of how it uses its golf stuff. And really kind of keeps you moving along, and each course is very different. I think. Go ahead.
I should say, like, one of my other favorite games from the last like 10 years, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, is on Switch and somehow runs
really
very
good.
well on there.
Really good.
It's great. So yeah, that is also a fantastic place for that. And Hollow Knight, actually, I talked about this earlier. Like those two are in like my top tier Metroidvanias with Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid Man. Hollow Knight was good. There's a lot of indie games like that. I was so happy I played on Switch. Same thing with Undertale.
Dead Cells for me. Dead Cells for me. Yeah. Celeste. God, Celeste. Yes. Man, we should replace Celeste sometime soon.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I can still like. Sometimes like I want to go back and be like, I'm going to get some of these more of these B sides and even some of these C sides, and it gets so hard. And it's fun, but I can only do like one like every couple of months before I'm like I'm tired. Oh, Uriel Delgado just had a super chat. Don't have a favorite, but it will be Metroid Dread.
I hope so.
His shot. We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope so. All right, Jeff. We only have a little bit more time here before this Xbox Gamescom thing gets going. Have you been playing any Nintendo games you wanted to talk about?
The only thing I would have wanted to talk about is that WarioWare Get It Together, and we already did that, so I'll hand it off to you. I mean, of course, I'm playing stuff like Harmony of Dissonance and stuff, but we've talked about that recently, so we don't need to go over that again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in a similar place. I've been playing Quake, and I talked about that. I've been really enjoying it. I did play a Kirby Superstar last night on the Switch, like Nintendo Switch Online, Super Nintendo Selection. I was like, I should play something on the 30th anniversary. But that was one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, and it's still great. I still think it was the first one where you didn't just get a copy ability, you got a copy move set. Like the first thing I would do in that game every time is look for the beam ability, because it was like first you had like that that classic like beam like spread. You do the dash, it's like this cyclone. The best is if you dash and jump and attack, you shoot down that like rain of stars. Feels so good.
Kirby's such a good concept, good game. Real quick, Matthias says, do you have a most anticipated Switch game? It's probably Dread for both of us, right?
Yeah, definitely in terms of has to be Dread. In terms of what's super imminent and what's announced, it's gotta be.
I mean, Breath of the Wild 2 and stuff like that for sure for me, but I mean, right now it's Metroid Dread. It's all Metroid Dread. It's kind of that's why I'm playing so many Metroid games for sure. All right, Mike, should we tell people where they can find us on the internet?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Tolkoto, TOLKOTO. Don't forget to watch us on GamesBeat Decides on Fridays. Check out 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com.
I am Jeff Grubb on Twitter, Jeff Grubb on Twitch. Come join the Discord, discord.gg/GameMess. Come watch the GamesBeat Decides podcast, How Games Make Money. We'll have a new episode this week for sure. Trying to think of anything else. I don't know. Come read our stuff on GamesBeat. We're gonna have coverage for the Xbox thing today. There's some news we know about, some news we probably don't. So and then I think they're gonna have more Xbox news tomorrow at Gamescom opening night live. So we'll be covering that, and of course we'll be talking about all of that on GamesBeat Decides on Friday.
Join the Discord.
This show is probably going to be changing its time next week, so we'll let you know, but probably going to be moving to Wednesday because of those screaming children in the background. I got to move stuff around when like the kids are at school and when I have to leave to go pick them up and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for bearing with us while we figure out this transition. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.